Harold here, noonan time with Harold. Local news in a roundabout way. We got a special episode today. We have Denny from Cards Over Clicks, who's going to talk about his really unique and special and kind and I think golden is the right word. Golden business. We're going to learn a little bit about him, what makes him interesting, what makes this business interesting. You're going to learn about something that you haven't learned about before. And that's what I like to do. You know, anybody can interview people that are already super successful and great at things. And I can use their image and energy in order to make myself look powerful. I'm making podcasting sound more interesting than it is. But this guy, you know, he's kind of flying under the radar as being what I consider the next big thing. One of the next big things. I think his idea is just awesome. His attitude is fantastic. He's great. And playing cards are great. Trading cards are great. All around, I think this is great. You may disagree. And if you do, you are wrong. You are wrong for having a different opinion than me. And I will fight you about it on the internet. No, I won't. I got other things going on. Anyways, I hope you enjoy this interview, and make sure you follow me, Noonan Time with Harold, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We have our store, Zazzle.com/noonantime with Harold. If you go to noonantimewithharold.com, you can find links to all the stuff. So that's what I should just say, is go to noonantimewithharold.com, find links to all the stuff. Otherwise, I love you. And we are joined here today by a lovely man. I've just found out how lovely he is. He's been at my house for about 10 minutes, and he's made me laugh more than I've laughed in a week. It is Mr. Denny of Cards Over, the executive director of Cards Over Clicks. All right, tell us a little bit, just right off the bat, what is a Cards Over Clicks? What does that mean?
Well, Cards Over Clicks is an educational 501c3 that encourages children to take social media timeouts, basically less internet time, and more time learning and developing social skills through old-fashioned card collecting.
Okay, so what are some of the card collecting types that you would see for this? Because I think when people hear this, the first thing they're going to think of is Pokemon. Everybody knows about Pokemon.
Well, first I'll say everything that I do is free.
Okay.
So who doesn't like free, right?
Yeah.
And what I do to make this interesting is I create these educational worksheets that I put in every pack of cards. And I make them specifically for specific age groups. And what the worksheet does, it's what they're learning in school right now. Could be a little even more challenging than what they're working on right now.
Okay.
Because we want them to be engaged. And the types of cards we utilize that I have donated, well, of course, Pokemon. It can be Disney Lorcana, which is becoming more and more popular. I had 120,000 soccer cards donated to me in April, which was perfect timing for the World Cup. And, you know, of course, everybody wants a Ronaldo card, Messi card, something like that. And now those are kind of fading away, and now people are really getting hot with the Disney Lorcana, which has surprised me. Also, you know, current sports, baseball, football, basketball, Topps has been releasing a number of those. So, excuse me, lately. So it's been really important to, and I've had some great people and sponsors donating these cards that I can get out quickly to the kids, which is what it's all about. Now, in other news, I've got Digimon, I've got Gundam, Japanese anime kind of thing, and the high schoolers like that. They like that big time. Digimon's been moving slow lately. Again, all of this is free, so they can just, when they see me at an event or a festival, they can get any pack they can, only one pack only, because we don't have enough for everybody, usually at an event. And I've probably distributed over the past year close to 5,000 card packs. And the one thing about all of this is I've now come to understand why Santa Claus needs elves. Because this is a one-man show. I have my own workshop, and I put these card packs together. I can do about 400 card packs a week in my workshop, and that's working from like 11 a.m. in the morning until midnight.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So I am working more hours now than what I did before I retired last year. But the whole thing is, it's all about the kids. I want to make a difference in children's lives. And even if it's just one child, that one child can have an impact on so many.
So
That's what it's about.
I'm just trying to picture how this works. I'm at an event and you're there sitting what in a under a little.
Yep, I usually have my own canopy and a
Okay.
table, and on the table are 4 different grade levels. There's pre-K through second grade, third grade through fifth, sixth through eighth, and then high schoolers.
Okay.
And primarily, my biggest demographic is the pre-K to fifth graders. And they are all, and what do they want? Say it with me now. Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yes, Pokemon is it. But unfortunately, there's been a big decrease in the Pokemon donations lately, and I think just because of the card climate in the industry, people are just kind of holding on to their Pokemon cards, even the ones that really aren't worth a whole lot because they don't know where the market's going to go with the value of them. And speaking of value, that's where I say I don't care about values as far as cost-wise and money-wise, because my goal is to get kids to engage. And if I have a really nice Shohei Ohtani card, I can tell you they're going to take that Shohei Ohtani card. And, there's all kinds of base cards out there for baseball, football, and basketball. And when kids recognize the name, they say, oh my goodness, I got to have it. And that's what I love about it. So basically, we just want to kind of get the kids to learn. And also, when I'm at the event, after they pick whatever card they want, at some of the larger events, I will do a giveaway at the end of the day. So if they complete their worksheet for me right then and there, I'll give them a raffle ticket, and they'll be their parent will have to fill out that raffle ticket because I do not take names and numbers of minors.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the event, I'll draw a raffle ticket to give away some piece of memorabilia, like a Grogu. I have a Grogu stuffed animal that I passed out. Bobbleheads. Grogu. Yes,
Grogu, right
Grogu. There you go.
Hanging out.
All kinds of memorabilia, sports memorabilia, bobbleheads, baseballs, authenticated cards, those things. And again, once again, they've all been donated, and that's the beauty of Cards Over Clicks.
So for you, it's not a cost; it's just the time that you have to put into it.
Exactly. This is a true passion project for me. I don't make any money on it. I'm even self-invested. Some of my retirement is going to fund this to keep me operating. So yes, hey, if you want to make a cash donation, I am more than open to that. I certainly need that. My biggest expense that I have is printing, and my printing expenses are about $900 for 5,000 sheets, and those sheets are black and white. I've got my questions on the front and answers on the back. So when mom and dad get home and the kid does their worksheet, that's all they have to do is turn it over, and there are the answers.
What kind of stuff is on the worksheets?
Well, I've had a lot of praise from my pre-K through second grade. My first generation worksheet was on the front, it was analog clocks, a set of 12. And the top 6, you had the big hand on the 12 and the small hand on the 3, and then the child would have to say, okay, what time is it?
Gotcha.
And then on the bottom 6 clocks, they would have the time given to them, and then they would have to draw a big hand and the little hand.
Yeah.
So that I've had a lot of praise from both teachers and parents, because with the digital age we live in, everything is digital. And kids don't get used to clocks. There have even been instances where I have heard of clocks being removed from high schools because kids don't understand how to read them. So that's important to understand. But so there's the pre-K. For the 3rd through 5th graders, my worksheet right now is nouns and adjectives. So they have to, define, what is a noun, what is an adjective, incomplete sentences, and of course I've got the answers on the reverse side. With my junior high, it is what we call a word graph. where you have to find a word. So it's a number of different words that they just have to find that word in the graph. But it's high English, so so it's things they should be learning in school right now. And usually that's a pretty easy one. What I am working on at the moment is a junior high algebra. I know. They always said algebra you'll need it to save your life someday. Well, here you go. We might as well start in junior high to learn algebra. And then with the fun one for high school I have at the moment is a map of the United States.
Okay.
And so if you got the map on the front, answers on the back, and when a parent and a high schooler come up to the booth and they're like, hey, well, first of all, the biggest question I get is kids will come up, no matter what age, how much are the cards? And when I say free, they give me that Macaulay Culkin Home Alone look. Oh, and they're like, I can't believe it. Are you serious? Yes, I'm serious. And they're just flabbergasted by it. So that's the first cool thing that happens when kids visit my booth. But the second thing is at the high school level, I talk to mom and I talk to the high school student and I say, hey, what do you say we do the milkshake challenge? And they're like, milkshake challenge? Yeah, well, what's this guy talking about, And and I explained to them, here's what we're going to do. For the high school student, if they can get more than 25 questions right on that worksheet, then mom has to buy them a milkshake, or dad, whoever it is they're with. However, if they don't, then they have to buy mom or dad a milkshake.
Okay.
Now, remember, it's a map of the United States. So how good are you at identifying the states?
Yeah.
And I did that intentionally because in my previous life, in my previous employment, I saw many college graduates come in who couldn't tell me where the state of Idaho was.
I don't know.
Or Iowa. And, we've got to know where all the states are so we can know what's happening in the world.
I'm curious because if I saw you there and you had something there that looked like free trading cards, at me as a 37-year-old man, I would come up there and try to get some. How often does that happen where adults come and they're like, hey, can I get some?
Well, that is a very complicated situation.
Okay, what do you do?
Sometimes I have had adult males come up with their phones and with their Cardly AI apps, and they're trying to scan the cards because, they want to see the value of them. Now, remember what I said at the beginning. I don't care about card values. I can have a $15 card laying right out in front of you. I can have a Cal Ripken Jr. or a Ken Griffey Jr. I don't care about value. But, of course, the 40-year-olds do. I politely ask them to, hey, fellas, I know what you're doing, but I think you're a little too old for high school, so just turn around and walk away. And like I said, there are so many. That's the sad part about the card industry. It's become a lottery game. And I hate that because I grew up as a pure collector, and I collected what I enjoyed and what I loved. I didn't collect because I wanted to turn around and flip it. And sadly, the industry has become a lot of that. And when I see kids trying to flip cards, it breaks my heart because they're not doing it for the love of it, but they're doing it because they want to try to make money. And what I tell children is, you're going to be chasing the almighty dollar all your life. But once you get that knowledge in your brain, that's going to be with you forever.
That's
what's important.
Yeah, we do Lorcana, right? Me and my girlfriend, and she pulled a $380 Mickey and Minnie Mouse card last week. And this is the first time we've ever pulled anything worth. We've never sold anything, right? And we haven't she's like, she doesn't know what to do because she's like, I could sell it and I could buy so many more Lorcana cards.
Sure.
But currently, it is in a beautiful protective case sitting there in our bedroom watching over our bed. So she's got that attitude right now where she's like, I got a card almost worth $400, but this is awesome. I can collect this. I never thought I'd have a card like this. And it's a beautiful card.
You know what? And you love that card, and that's what's important. When I was growing up, I would ride my bike to the gas station. Now, at this point, I'm going to age myself. There were only 3 television stations. There was no streaming, no Wi-Fi, not even cable. And I would ride down to the gas station, mom and pop store, buy some cards for 10 cents, 15 cents a pack, with money I've turned in from bottles that I found along the side of the road. And, and then I go back to the neighborhood and I would try to trade cards, find my friends who would, hey, I'll trade you this Goose Gossage for Johnny Bench. And because that's part of what we did besides playing outside, going in the woods, playing in the creek, doing whatever we're going to do. But we didn't have a whole lot of time back then. The best thing I ever did was when I went into the military. I served in the United States Navy in the submarine service. And when I went into the service, I took all of my baseball cards that I collected growing up and I gave them to my friend, Darren Huff. And Darren, God bless him, when I was gone, he just assorted them, inventory, did everything possible with them. And when I got out of the service, he said, here's your cards back. And I'm like, thanks, bud. Now, I get home, my mom has completely trashed my room. Oh, no. All my classic rock albums gone. My G.I. Joes, gone. Oh, no. Hot Wheels, gone. So I didn't really have anything left of life except those cards. So I'm really happy he held on to those cards. And to this day, my favorite card, and it's got value, is the 1963 Pete Rose rookie card.
Oh, wow.
And it's worth a couple $1,000s.
Right.
But being a collector, what I've done over the years is I grew up in Ohio, so I was a Cincinnati Reds fan, always have been, always will be. They put us through misery every single year. But I pull for the Braves. I cheer for the Braves because I've always cheered no matter where I've gone in the country, whether serving in the military or my previous job, I would always cheer for the local team, right, as long as they weren't playing my team.
That makes sense.
So I had collected all Reds baseball cards, and I have collected from the 1950s all the way to present these binders of Reds baseball cards. And what I'm going to do with them is, well, upon my demise, they will be donated to a charity. So the charity, probably up in the Cincinnati area, so the charity can then do a silent auction on them, and it'll go to, like, I don't know, Children's Hospital or something like that.
That was going to be one of my next questions is, for you personally, what cards do you get excited about? Like, is there something that when you see, you're like, oh, this is really cool, or is it all just feel?
Not anymore, because I know once you get over 60, time is limited, and I am getting rid of things at this point. You can't take it with you, so you got to get rid of them, and that's what I'm trying to do. Is I'm trying to get rid of as much as possible right now. And with the cards, all my cards that I had, I pretty much, those went in the first batches. But yep, that's what I do. And so when kids see something, when I see some nice cards, I've had people say, "Hey, Dennis, why don't you just scan the cards? You could fund the whole program if you with a couple well-placed cards." And I said, I could, but when you're packing 400 card packs a week, you don't have time to scan one card. Yeah. Because what I try to do, I try to make sure I take the bad apples out. I mean, we've had individuals in baseball and football who have done some pretty unscrupulous things.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
And so I do the best job I can to remove some of those. Because of my sports knowledge, I know a lot of those players. And that's the beautiful thing about Pokemon or Disney Lorcana. I don't have to worry about anything being bad. Because you're right. But I do. This is all about family friendly. I want it to be fun, not only for the kids but the parents. And I've also gotten a lot of great feedback from the parents about, this is a very cool original idea. And I'm like, well, thanks. My dream is, I got two dreams actually. My dream is to have a chapter of Cards Over Clicks in every state. Okay. And my biggest dream is, the year is 2059. And we are 2059, and the NASA is settling the first colonist on Mars. Okay, and everybody, the media is talking to the NASA director, and then this one reporter asked the director, saying, "How did you get involved with space and technology?" And that NASA director said, "Well, there was this big old fat guy in Fayetteville, Georgia, who gave me some Pokemon cards with these math sheets in them, and it got me hooked on math." And ever since then, I started studying science and physics and all of that. And here I am, NASA director, letting people on. All because of that old fat guy back in Fayetteville, Georgia.
And I probably should ask this question at the beginning. Why?
Why?
Why are we doing this? You said you've been doing it a year?
Been doing it a year, yep.
That's
You know,
late in life to just be like, hey, this is now what I want to do.
our world does not have enough kindness.
Okay.
We need more kindness and we need more love in this world. We've seen this world continually decay, especially since COVID, and it seems like every day we're asking ourselves, is this a real story? Is this even possible? We need more love and kindness in this world, and that is why I'm doing this. If I can give back just a little bit and have that impact on one child and get him or her interested in science, technology, you know what? They could be the next doctor that possibly cures cancer. It's those people who don't try. I could be selfish and say, hey, I'm not gonna. Yeah, hey, I could just. Hey, I'm chill. I'm retired. I'm gonna go down and have my little umbrella drink and sit out by the pool. And no, that's not me. That's not who I am. That's not the character that I've built over the last 30, 40 years. I've got to continue the pursuit of helping make our society better and encouraging kids especially. Because the kids, I'll be honest, social media, I'm glad social media didn't exist when I was a child or when I was a teenager. Because, there's bullying, the bullying on there, and it's just, and people these days with social media, I mean, if somebody says something that you disagree with, then there is actual physical, character assassination of that individual, trying to ruin that individual's reputation and everything else. So that's something that we need to focus on positive and less negative, and that's what I'm here for.
I keep waiting to hear like what the catch is, like what you're getting from it and how you're turning this around. Just because of you, as you were saying, the way the world is, there's a lot of unkindness. I keep being like, what's the bad thing about Denny? And I haven't found anything. It just seems like you're good.
Joy. Let me talk about joy.
Tell me about joy.
I was at a baseball game in May, and oh my goodness. And I was stuck. My one volunteer couldn't make it that day, so it was just me and an entire 5 or 6 baseball fields of baseball players and their parents and their family members. So between games, the kids would just come running, and I'm trying to keep them in single file for whatever age group they're in, and they're one pack, one card, one pack only. So they go ahead and take a pack of cards, and it was overwhelming that day. But when the game started, there were 3 little girls. And they were probably, I would say, between pre-K and second grade, because I saw them playing in a tree earlier that morning during one of the games. And it was really cute, because you don't see kids climbing trees these days. So, and they were really cute, and I'm like, that's precious, So they got the cards, they went over to this picnic table, and they just sat there, and they were playing with not a worry in the world. And that was all worth it. That speaks volumes. I had a 5th grader, and I mentioned this story on my social media. But this 5th grader he came up and he was like, "Hey, how much are the cards?" And of course I say, "It's free." And he's like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're giving out free cards." Yep. So he got out some free cards, and I said, "Hey, if you do that worksheet, I'll give you another pack." So he goes away, and I could tell early on he was a family member of one of the vendors at the event.
Okay.
So I knew he was going to be around all day. He's going to need stuff to do. So he came back about 30 minutes later, and he missed 2 on the worksheet, but I explained why. But most importantly, I praised him, and I really encouraged him, because in this day and age, there's enough people saying, "Oh, you guys stink. Why did you do this?" Kids always get the bad criticism, but we need to do the positive reinforcement and the encouragement. So I said, "Man, you do great. That's awesome. How would you like to try to be in junior high for the day. And he says, all right. He's like,
really
okay. So then he got a junior high pack. And this kid loved baseball, so he was going after the baseball card packs. So he took that one. This time he was gone about an hour. And he came back that hour later, and he said, how'd I do? And I went, well, you did pretty good. And he did. For the word search, he did excellent. And I said, now it's time for you to go to high school. and he's like, oh no. And I'm like, don't fret it. We'll see what happens. So he picked a pack of baseball cards he wanted, and he went out, and this was around noon. Now, the event didn't shut down until 4. So during the course of the afternoon, between patrons that would stop by my table, I would see this young man going from person to person. He was asking people there, what state is this? I could see it. And it was great because he was interacting, he was talking, and he probably talked to everybody at that festival. But, and I was watching him the whole time, going around, and he came back shortly about 3:30, and he was just like, oh, I didn't do too well. And I'm like, I don't believe that. Let me see. So he showed me, and he got maybe 35 out of the 50 states.
That's not bad.
But that's awesome. And I said, dude, you are awesome. And I said, you know what? I have been watching you. You've been going around everywhere asking for the answers. You've had that determination and diligence to try to find out the answer. And, and that's what life's about a lot of times. We have to be diligent. We have to stay the course and do what we need to do to be successful. And you did that today. So I'm going to give you 2 more packs, any cards on the table.
Oh, nice.
And he was over the top. And so he had this big stack of baseball cards by the end of the day he was running off with. So that's one of the stories. It's the stories that really make a difference with me. I get so much joy from the events. There are some events that, no, they're not as joyful. And it's like anything. It's like if you might go to a football game and it might be really exciting, and you might go to another one and it might be 3-0 and not really much happening. So it's a lot like that. I had another event where there was a second grader, and my wife was helping me at the table, and the second grader was having a hard time with the worksheet. Now, the new worksheet for second graders is one where we have a picture and letters, and they have to tell us the letter that the picture starts with, of what whatever the item is.
Yeah.
So if it's a table, it would be a T, right? But we give them options of F, G, H, and T. So they have to make that determination. So she was helping this young man, and he was really struggling. And she spent so much time with him, and it probably 20 or 30 minutes, I would say, to help him complete this sheet. And then once he completed the sheet, we asked him, all right, go get your mama, have your mom come, and we're going to let her fill out a raffle ticket for you to see if you can win a prize at the end. And so mom came over, filled out the ticket, and actually, you know what? I think he actually went to get mom's signature, because I don't think mom came over at all. I think she was busy doing something else. But she came back. I saw, a lady's last name and a phone number. And I thought, okay, we're good. Put it in a little bucket. And then at the end of the event, when I went in, and we had probably 25 entries that day. And I just started all around, pulled one out, and wouldn't you know it, it was that little boy's number. And so he got this, and he was really excited. It was a Mark McGuire collectible from 1997. He didn't even know who. Yeah, he didn't even know who Mark McGuire was.
Cool.
But he loved the action. It was like a big action figure, but it was a limited edition. And I've had stories of. I guess if you want another story, I can give you another story. I don't know if we have time for that or not, but
We have as much time as you got.
all right. Well, here's a story about when I first started last August, and I just celebrated my 1-year anniversary of doing cards over clicks. I was at a card show down in South Georgia, and I would go to every dealer, introduce myself, tell them what I'm doing, and give them one of the sample pack of cards that I gave you today, and they kind of give them an idea of what's happening. And I did that and didn't think anything of it. And then this past April, I had one of the dealers come up to me towards the end of that show and say, I want to apologize to you because I'll be honest with you, in the card industry, there's a lot of fraudsters. And I thought you were a fraudster. But I've been following you on social media and everything you do, and you're legit. You're the real deal. And I thanked him, and I was very grateful. And the next thing that came out of his mouth, actually, he just said, listen, I want to give you a bunch of stuff.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, okay, do you like collect? He said, can you use collectibles for your, and I went, well, yes, I could. I've been thinking, I've had some ideas, I just haven't been able to implement them. And so he gave me a lot of this memorabilia, which is what I now use as the end of the event prizes that the kids can enter to win. Yeah, for the raffle. So it's just been it's been a blessing, and you know, people don't know how much you care until you show them how much you care, and that's what I try to do day in and day out.
So we're about to wrap up. The biggest question is, how can people find and support you and be there? How can they, if they have cards they want to give, if they have money they want to give, if they have figures they want to give, and then how can they actually take their kids to be part?
Well, you know what? Just check. First of all, I would go to Cards Over Clicks on Facebook. Like and follow. You can follow us there. Also, we are on Instagram, cards_over_clicks. And that's where we usually promote what events we're going to be showing up at and appearing at. Our website is awesome. Check us out at www.cardsoverclicks.org. And that has all kinds of great photos from events we've been at. It has little tips about school safety tips as well. Recommendations. It has all kinds of things on there, and it also has a little bit about my story as well. There's a a picture with me and the Hit King, Pete Rose. I actually, and that was a cool story because I had never met Pete Rose at all until 6 months before he passed.
Oh, wow.
And it was a birthday gift from my wife, and she says, because I said this probably might be one of the last times I can see him, and you know what? People said, oh, he's a mean guy. And when I sat down and talked to him, and this was up in Cincinnati on opening day weekend a year or two ago, and he started talking about Gene Garber and the Braves, about how Gene Garber just hates him, and about what the Braves did to try to end his hit streak and all that. But what was really cool is he took time, and he was very gentle, and he seemed like a man at peace. And knowing that the end was coming soon, and he was happy to share, and that it was just a wonderful moment. But cardsoverclicks.org, that's where you want to go. And right now, really what I need most of is, Santa Claus had elves to help him. I've got 3 cats, and it's really tough for the cats to put the cards in these little plastic bags. So I really need volunteers right now.
Okay.
Volunteers, that's the biggest thing. And plus, it's been a hot summer. There was one event, I got heat stroke towards the end of it.
Wow.
So you can imagine loading these boxes of cards and setting up a canopy and everything. It's not easy. It's not easy for the old folks like me. So helpers, absolutely. And also having packing parties. I plan on doing some packing parties soon, just so we can create more inventory. The pre-K through 5th graders have really run me dry this summer. So I am constantly fighting to resupply so I can keep up for the next weekend of events, whatever that may be. And of course, cash donations. Right now, I've got plenty of cards. In fact, I just picked some up on the way here from Draft Town Sports Cards in Sharpsburg. And of course, Superheroes in Noonan as well. They have been fantastic when it comes to the Pokemon and One Piece and Digimon and Magic. And you just fill in the blanks for the rest, because there's so many Gundam. But those are the key things: is just volunteer, donate, and may I also mention this coming for the remainder of this week through August 16th, Cards Over Clicks has been nominated for the Best of Fayette by The Citizen, and they have. I am just beside myself how I even got this far, because Cards Over Clicks, they've been nominated for 3 different nonprofit categories amongst some really awesome, amazing nonprofits, and all nonprofits that my wife and I have volunteered for over the years. And it's just, I'm just humbled to be in the same crowd as them. But there's one category under people called the Community Hero. That one, I may have a shot. I don't know. People tell me I do. So if you could vote for Denny Lower with Cards Over Clicks under the People category for the citizen, and that link is it's actually on my website as well. And it's on the Cards Over Clicks Facebook page too. So check both those out if you can.
When I interviewed Mr. James Shepard, who went on to become Noonan mayor last year around this time, there was this feeling of, I'm getting in on meeting somebody who's going to end up doing something incredible. I haven't had that feeling since then. It's been about a year of that. So I don't know. I'm really excited for you. Hope really awesome things happen. Any sign-off words you want to share?
Thanks, Harold. And just remember, people don't know how much you care until you show them how much you care.